Hi guys and welcome to Crazy Pepper Revenge. This channel is all about crazy true stories, stuff that happens in real life when things get a little bit messy, people dealing with drama, cheating, lies, breakups, and even revenge. Some stories are wild, some are emotional, but all of them will keep you watching. If you like real talk and real situations, you're in the right place. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and stick around. This is Crazy Pepper Revenge, where the stories get spicy.
They betrayed me together, but I planned each of their downfalls separately.
I'm Parker, 28, married to Sienna, 26, for 2 years. She's gorgeous, confident, marketing degree, posts these perfectly curated Instagram photos that get hundreds of likes. I work at a factory assembling packaging materials. Nothing glamorous, but it pays the bills. I'm not the type who needs fancy cars or designer suits. I'm fine with stable routines. Sienna used to say she liked that about me. Then there's Damien, my brother, 32, 6'3", built, always the star in any room he enters. He's in sales, has a company car, and a magnetic smile that could charm the last dollar out of a billionaire's pocket. Our parents treat him like the second coming of Christ. Me? I'm the afterthought. Growing up, everything I had felt like hand-me-downs. Clothes, attention, even respect. I'd made peace with it until I found out he was sleeping with my wife. Last Thursday, the factory had an equipment failure, so my shift ended early. I texted Sienna around noon that I'd be home by 4 instead of 7. As usual, no response. I drove back, expecting to find her maybe napping or scrolling through Instagram. The moment I opened the door, I heard two voices coming from our bedroom. Damien's deep, arrogant tone, Sienna's slightly higher, frustrated pitch. My heart hammered. Why was my brother here? I stood in the hallway listening. Parker's never going to get anywhere, Damien said. 5 years at that factory, zero ambition. He's sweet, but sweet is for desserts, not men, Sienna sighed. He's so small, doesn't stand up for himself. I need a real man. Damien chuckled that mocking laugh I've hated my entire life. Exactly. Someone who can provide. Someone who knows how to take what he wants. I pushed the bedroom door open. It wasn't even locked. They were sitting on my bed, fully clothed, but intimate in a way that felt more intimate than if I'd caught them without clothes. Damien leaned back against the headboard, arms spread like he owned the place. Sienna sat cross-legged, angled toward him, her entire body language screaming comfort. They looked at me with annoyance, like I was an unwanted intruder. The hell is this? I demanded, voice cracking. Hey, little bro. Thought you wouldn't be home till later. Damien grinned smugly. Why are you in my bedroom? Sienna rolled her eyes like I was a whining child. We were talking about how you have no spine. I'm tired of pretending everything's okay. You're engaged, remember? Melina's planning your future, I told Damien. He laughed dismissively. Melina and I have an arrangement. Sienna deserves a real man. It's not my fault you're content with mediocrity. Get out of my apartment. Our apartment, Sienna snorted. My name's on the lease too. Actually, you should leave. I'm done with your dead-end job and timid routine. Pack your things. Go. Something inside me went cold. I didn't scream or punch him. I just grabbed a duffel bag and stuffed in my laptop, clothes, anything I could reach. Sienna tossed me trash bags to pack the rest. While I shoved belongings into them, she and Damien exchanged smug whispers. Once my arms were full, I stalked to the door. No hard feelings, right? You'll find someone more your speed, Damien called as I left. I drove around aimlessly for hours until my buddy Mike let me crash on his couch. The next day, I moved into this motel. That's where my new life started, I guess, in a dingy room with a blinking neon sign. I spent the first night at the motel sifting through my trash bags, tears of rage blurring my vision. That's when I found my old iPad, the one I'd barely used since Christmas. I booted it up, and to my shock, it was still linked to my iCloud and apparently still synced to Sienna's phone because, when she ran out of storage, I'd added her to my plan. Messages, photos, voice notes. Everything was there. It felt wrong, but after what happened, I figured I had every right to see the truth. The texts between her and Damien went back months, starting with casual flirting, building toward meeting up while I was at work. One message from Damien made my stomach turn to ice. Taking your wife is a bonus, but the real thrill is seeing that look on Parker's face when he figures out he lost again. Like back when we were kids and I took his bike. Some people are just born losers. So this was a game to him. Not even about love or lust, just taking something from me to prove he could. Sienna was fully on board, complaining about my lack of ambition and boring lifestyle. They planned how to slowly nudge me out. She even told him the best times to come by, how to avoid me. She mocked me for not noticing the signs. I saved screenshots, hands shaking with fury. They called me weak. Fine. I'd show them what a weakling can do when cornered. My parents' reaction was predictable. When I showed up bloodshot and shaking, telling them about the betrayal, they started with, "Maybe if you'd paid more attention to your wife. Maybe if you aimed higher in your career. Are you blaming me for her cheating with my own brother?" "We're not blaming you exactly, but sometimes women stray when they feel unfulfilled," Mom sighed. "You've been stuck in that same job for years." Dad nodded grimly. "Damien's dynamic. He goes places. You can't fault Sienna for wanting more." I stormed out. They didn't follow. Once again, Damien was the golden boy. I took 2 days off work to dig deeper into Damien's digital footprints. Found references to him stealing credit from subordinates at Uncle Edwin's logistics company, partying while claiming business trips, messages to Melina, barely mentioning his side piece. Uncle Edwin runs a prestigious firm and adores Damien. Perfect place to strike. I arranged a meeting under the pretense of career advice at his country club. "You must be proud of Damien's upcoming promotion," I said casually, though I heard some rumors about him taking credit for his team's work. Could lead to nepotism talk. I showed him screenshots of Damien bragging about borrowing subordinates' work, questionable use of company funds. Edwin's frown deepened as he scrolled. "I appreciate you bringing this to me." "I'll look into it," he said quietly. Back at the motel, frantic messages started flooding in from Sienna. "Please, let's talk." I made a mistake. Then Damien, "Stop whatever you're doing, this isn't funny." I ignored them all, but answered when Melina called wanting to meet. At a chic cafe, she looked rattled. "I heard you and Sienna split." Damien said it was mutual, but then I found messages between them. Her voice trembled. "He's been lying for months. When I confronted him, he claimed it was just flirting. Then I found evidence of other women, too. I gave the ring back, called off the engagement." I showed her the screenshots. She went pale, reading Damien's vile words about humiliating me. "It's all some game to him," she whispered. My fury had consumed me so completely that I started fantasizing about physically hurting Damien. But I'm not a fighter and didn't want jail time. A darker idea took shape. If I couldn't smash his face, I'd smash something he adored even more. His pristine black BMW. Near my motel, I approached a desperate homeless guy rummaging through dumpsters. With twisted purpose, I offered him a few $100 I couldn't spare to set Damien's BMW on fire. Gave him the license plate and location. 2 nights later, local news reported a car fire at the West Side Athletic Club. Black BMW, suspected arson. Damien called the next day, voice tight with rage. "Someone burned my car, Parker. Don't you dare act innocent. I know you're behind this." "That's a serious accusation. I have no idea what you're talking about." "You're playing with fire. First you sabotaged my promotion, turned Melina against me, now this. All because I took your wife. Seems like your perfect life is unraveling. Maybe rethink your choices," I said, hands shaking as nausea hit me. I just paid someone to commit a felony. Mom insisted on family dinner to hash things out. Damien arrived late, bloodshot eyes, unkempt hair. No sign of the slick corporate shark I once knew. Dad glared. "Any updates on your living situation? Or still at that motel?" "He probably likes it there since it suits his low standards," Damien scoffed. "Yes, let's talk about how you wrecked my marriage and now want to blame me for your meltdown," I smirked. "Don't act like a saint. You showed Uncle Edwin those files, turned Melina against me, and I know you burned my car." He pointed his fork at me. Dad slammed the table. "Enough, Parker. If you did anything illegal..." I stood, voice shaking with anger. "Your precious son did this to himself. You can lie all you want, but you're proving you're not so weak after all. Congratulations." Damien laughed bitterly. Damien stormed off. Dad glared at me like it was my fault. Days later, Uncle Edwin summoned me to his office. "I've investigated Damien's work. Enough irregularities that the board placed him on probation. The promotion is off the table." As I left, Edwin offered me a management opening. I thanked him but didn't commit. I wanted distance from everything associated with Damien. Sienna's roommate Heather reached out saying Sienna had my headphones. Meeting her at a park, she blurted, "She's been lying for months." Damien was coming over since January. After you left, he ghosted her, blocked her number, told her it was just a game to take her from you. She's devastated. Hard to feel sorry for her after she humiliated me and threw trash bags at me, I said. One evening, returning to my motel with microwave dinners, Damien was by my door, drunk, bloodshot, hair a mess. "You ruined my promotion, Malene is gone, my car's in ashes, and Sienna keeps whining that I used her." "Congratulations, Parker. You're not a loser anymore, you're a monster." He shoved me against the wall, breath reeking of whiskey. "This is all your fault. You couldn't just let me have a little fun, could you?" I shoved back hard. "You humiliated me. Took my wife just to prove you could. Don't cry about consequences now." "I never expected you to fight back like this. You're worse than I am." "Maybe. But now you know how it feels to have someone rip away everything you value." He stumbled off. Once he was my brother. Now I was consumed with hatred so deep I'd torched his life in return. Sienna texted claiming she had more of my things, asking to meet outside our old apartment. She looked pale, eyes rimmed red. "Can we talk inside?" "No, just give me my stuff." "Why won't you hear me out?" "Because you threw me out like trash." "You and Damien laughed at me. Now that he's dropped you, you want me back. Not happening." She flinched. "I'm sorry, I was stupid. I let him fill my head with ideas that you'd never get anywhere, that I deserved more." "But he didn't actually care, just wanted to one-up you." "I know. We had 2 years, Parker. Can we try again?" "You chose my brother. Live with that choice." I walked away, refusing to look back. Uncle Edwin texted that Damien was officially terminated. More shady deals found, lies about sales numbers. Damien's entire corporate career was in ashes. The news should have felt sweet, but just felt hollow. I'd gotten revenge, but there was no triumph, just gaping loss for who I used to be. I signed a lease on a tiny apartment with noisy neighbors and faulty heater. Unpacking, I found the watch I'd saved up to buy Damien for his 30th birthday. Malena had returned it, saying he didn't deserve it. I pinned it to the wall as a reminder. Sienna kept messaging, apologizing. I blocked her. My parents disapproved, telling me to work things out. They never defended me once. Damien's meltdown continued for weeks. Word spread that he'd lost his fiancée, Job, had debts from partying. He called drunk, spewing threats and accusations, then sobbing he had nothing left. I'd hang up, emotions swirling, hate, pity, satisfaction, regret. One night he banged on my new apartment door, reeking of liquor, ranting about how I'd ruined him. I told him to leave before calling cops. He staggered away, cursing. Uncle Edwin offered me a mid-level position, said he recognized I was more capable than anyone realized. I politely declined. Didn't want nepotism or to follow his footsteps. There's no neat resolution. Sienna is blocked and banished. Damien might climb back eventually. He's the type who lands on his feet. But for now, he's living in a friend's cramped spare room, sending venomous texts about how I destroyed him. My parents still think I'm partly to blame. All I know is for the first time, I'm free from being overshadowed. Sure, I'm haunted by the extremes I went to. Arson, sabotage, exposing every secret, but I learned quiet doesn't mean weak. Everyone has a breaking point. When I reached mine, I stopped caring about right or wrong. Am I proud of who I became for revenge? Not really. But there's grim satisfaction watching the mighty fall. If that makes me the villain, so be it. At least nobody laughs at me anymore. Damien finally knows I'm not some doormat, and Sienna knows I'm not her safety net. Maybe someday I'll find it in me to forgive, but not now, maybe not ever. For now, I'm building life from scratch in this squeaky-floored apartment. That's enough. I don't need fancy job, trophy wife, or sleek car, just my dignity. And for the first time in a long while, I finally have it.